June the 18th, 2024. I'm getting more in 24. The sound you will hear in the background is the sound of the majestic waves crashing down upon Kuta Beach. Does that sound pompous? I think not. And I was thinking to myself as I was watching the waves that 100 years ago there could have been, well, there probably wouldn't have been an Irish devil like myself, but certainly a Balinese man of some sort sitting in this same spot staring out at the waves and possibly thinking to himself, what am I going to do about that woman in my life? How am I going to get rid of the slave traders? Those bastards just appeared on a boat out of nowhere and they're making themselves at home. And then maybe 200 years before that there would have been some fella thinking to himself, Jesus, these royal princes are doing a right job on that temple back up the street there, aren't they? Certainly making great use of the locals. He's after made a concubine out of my daughter. A concubine, by the way, is like a live-in female slave, basically. The slave traders used to differentiate between the slaves that go out into the field and do the business, and then the slaves that they'd bring into their house to make what they be their love slaves, and they call them concubines. I digress, and what you will see in the video is Monkey Forest. I came out of the Ubud meeting and I was talking to some fella. He says, we're going to the Black Sheep, he said. We're going to the Black Sheep and we're going to have brunch. Would you be interested? And I said, sure I would. And he said, are you any good on the bike? And I said, I am. So he said, well, we'll take the scenic route then. So we drove up through Ubud and then we hung a right. And then this road you'll see here, this is what he calls the scenic route. I'm sure it's scenic enough. There's monkeys jumping out of the trees. There's monkeys sitting about on fences. And they do that lovely thing. You know, a monkey gets the other monkey and he says, come here to me, monkey. It looks like you've got a blasted little, what would you call them? Ticks or head lice. You have a blasted little head lice in your head there. So I'm just gonna help you. You sit down there in front of me and I'll work away on your head and I'll get rid of these head lice. And you'd wonder how it is that the monkeys communicate as they're sitting there on top of a tree or on the top of a fence. One monkey picking the lice out of the head of the other. In monkey language would he say, so how are you getting on? What are you suffering from? Because don't they share like 99% of the same DNA, so they must have 99% similar suffering. Says one monkey to the other, sure, look it, I'm sick of this place. The bananas are crap compared to the way they used to be. I'm still in Ubud here. This is one of the temples. See, they lock the gates so you can't go in. And then this is the convention. I'm back in Seminyak here. Now I'm sitting on the beach. And clearly you'll put two and two together because you'll hear the waves in the back of this narration. I am still sitting on the beach. There are no monkeys. I'm the only monkey here. And sure, there's plenty of people sunning themselves and there's people walking up and down trying to sell knickknacks. And I feel bad, you know, because the hand goes up. I'm all right for those. No, I don't want to buy a laughing Buddha statue. No, I have plenty of wrist bracelets and what have you. And you know what? I've already got my tattoo. I'm grand. I got a little tattoo. I got a little tattoo around my waistline. It's a Banksy tattoo. It's of a fallen angel, and he's sitting there, and his wings are disheveled, and his halo is crooked. and he's got a little bottle of whiskey at his feet, and he's smoking a cigarette. And sure enough, there's plenty of angels just like that, right? Sure, my halo's just a little bit crooked today, and my wings haven't been functioning properly, so I'm not going to be doing much of the angel work. I think I'll just sit here and get drunk. Well, I'm not getting drunk today. I we were at the convention for the weekend, and they can be quite overwhelming. I met this fella, and he was mad, as a lot of us are, telling me the story about, it was only a couple of months ago, he said, I was wandering around Mexico. I do geographicals. He was in Europe, and he was in America, and he was in fucking Timbuktu. Originally from Australia. But he's somewhat successful in the commercial investment industry, he says. And he says, I could be making 40 grand a week. And as long as I weren't slurring my words when I was on the phone, and I used Grammarly sending emails, nobody knew any different. But he said he was horsing about 10 grams of coke up his nose on a daily basis, and then it got too painful to him to be putting it up the nose, so he started injecting it. And as it happens in that kind of scenario, psychosis was soon to kick in, and he was doing some shady deal with some shady characters of some sort. I can't remember where he was from, not fucking Mexican shady bastards, but shady bastards from Europe somewhere. Italians, that was it. So he was doing a dodgy deal with some shady Italians, and then with the combination of the drugs and whatever else, I suppose, the threat from these Italian lunatics, psychosis kicked in. And in the middle of his psychosis, he thought it would be a great idea to marry the daughter of the local Mexican drug cartel. And he woke up on the day of the wedding, and he says, "Oh, sure, it's a fine day to be marrying a Mexican drug cartel daughter, the daughter of a Mexican drug cartel." And he horsed a blast of coke up his nose, and away off he went. And it's only for the fact that something happened. She was trying to divorce her ex and marry him on the same day, but the paperwork didn't come through, and he dodged a bullet. And he was wandering around, a shadow of his former self, properly broken. And he said, because he had recovery before, he reached out to someone in Thailand, and that person in Thailand made a blast of phone calls, and somebody rang him up and said, "Listen, get yourself there to the airport, we have a flight booked, make your way over here to Bangkok, we're going to stick you in a treatment centre, we'll get you good as rain." And they knew that he'd be good for the money, because he's capable of making 40k a month, he just needs to get sober, right? And I enjoyed it, because I met him while I was having a quesadilla, and he was having a burrito. And how was it that I was eating a quesadilla and he was eating a burrito? Well, he just had a bit of nostalgia for Mexico. That's the end of my rant anyway. It's a great day to be clean.